we'll go through what you should do when you're doing with students after they do the base area company activity in partners or groups. So this should kind of be the revelation that they really are working with value and place value and using those digits to determine value just like they are in base 10, but now we're just putting the mathematical language into it. So just a quick review, the company, groups by 4. There can be standing people. At the 4th standing person, they're grouped into a car. At the 4th car, they're grouped into a ferry. At the 4th ferry, they're grouped into a fleet. And the company uses a positional place value system to indicate how many of each grouping they have during the course of a day. So the kids are asked to solve questions based upon that system. So looking to the right of the screen, I made a note of the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday numbers indicating how many people visited the company. And to go over it with the students, it's important to really be sure that you're using that mathematical vocabulary, because when they were investigating with their peers, they were doing it informally. So now we're just bringing it, back to a formal mathematical stance of place value. So how many visited the Base River Ferry Company on Monday? A lot of my students, because of a video I showed them from Khan Academy, like to think of, just going really slow, trying to catch up. They use this strategy of arrows, like this, to show the digit and its connection to place value. So I never really taught that, but they started to catch on to that because of a video I showed them, and one person liked it, and then once I, showed class that student was using that strategy, they all started to like it. So some of the work samples I showed had, even though they were separate students, the 2 students were using the same strategy. So when you're talking about the Monday value, be sure to show students, there's 3 different digits, and each digit is in a different place, and that indicates that they each have a different value. So this digit is a 2, and the place it's in is the ones place. So this indicates that there's 2 ones. This is going very slow. 2 ones. Sorry about that. Which gives you 2 people total. Okay, so students will also sometimes write it like this: 2 groups of 1. Either is fine. Okay. The 3 in this place to the left of the 2 is 3 times larger than the size of the place the 2 is in. This digit is in the, if we're in a base 4 system, this digit is in the 4's place. It's the place that stands for how many cars are being taken across the river, and each car holds 4, so this is the 4's place. So this indicates that there's 3 4s, or 3 groups of 4, which means that 12 people traveled by car. And the final digit, which indicates the amount of ferries going across the river, but since students know that each ferry can hold 16 people, we can also refer to this, the place that this 3 occupies, as the 16's place. So this 3, the digit, and the place value work together to give us the meaning that there's 3 16s, or 3 groups of 16, which is 48. So then what students would do was, kind of apply their knowledge of expanded form. Okay, so this would be the partial sum type of standard form in yellow, and this would be the standard form, or the expanded form that uses the digit and the place value in pink. So to find the base 10 value of people that traveled on Monday, how many people traveled on Monday, you would add 2, 12, and 48 and get 62 people. So students are now seeing the digit. This is actually the place value, and this is the value, and making that connection to what they've already learned in base 10. So I'm going to do one more example just to be really clear. This is the second question on the worksheet. How many visited on Tuesday and Wednesday combined? So you have to do 2 problems and then add to conclude. I didn't have any students add the base 4 numbers first because I hadn't taught that yet. But I suppose, for the higher students, you could teach them to add with pictures first, and they could just, translate just that one number. But my students were translating to base 10 and then adding those base 10 numbers. So Tuesday, you have 1013, and Wednesday, you have 1132. So using a similar train of thought, making sure to use that mathematical language. Each digit holds a place. Okay, so by the second one, I would start moving away from calling the places by the standing people, car, ferry, or fleet, and instead calling them by their numerical value only. So 4's place, 16's place, 64's place, and the same right here, the 1's place. So this 3 sits in the digit 3 sits in the 1's place, so it indicates 3 1s, 3 groups of 1, which indicate there's 3 people that traveled just freely standing on the ferry that day. The digit 1 is sitting in the 4's place, so that means that there's 1 4, okay, which means 1 group of 4, which means 4 people traveled by car on the ferry on Tuesday. The 0 indicates that there's no value. No one took a ferry on this day, meaning there's 0 16s, so just 0. And then the digit 1 is sitting in the 64's place, meaning there's 1 60. Oops. Let's try to catch up. 64. 64, which is 1 group of 64, meaning 64 people traveled by fleet this day. So in sum, on Tuesday, 64 plus 4 plus 3 people traveled, so that's 68, 69, 70, 71 people traveled on Tuesday. So I would encourage my students to make a note of this, so that when they get to the end of the problem, they would be able to add them. So just to be very clear, using that mathematical vocabulary, in yellow are the digits. In orange are the place values. Come on. In orange are the place values. Gets going and it slows down significantly. It's trying to catch back up, so I'll let it. Sorry about this. Okay, so this is the place value, and then I'll do green, are the values of that digit in that place. And then we would add that and kind of plan expanded form. And we could also tell students that if we were to write it out in expanded form, we would write the digit times the place value, plus the digit times the place value, plus the digit times the place value, and that would give us expanded form. And then you would have to do the same thing for the Wednesday. So looking at the digit and how its value changes based on the place value. So this indicates that this digit says that there's 2 1s because it's sitting in the 1's place. The digit 3 indicates there's 3 4s because it's in the 4's place. The digit 1 here indicates there's 1 16 because it's in the 16's place. And this one indicates there's 1 64 because it's in the 64's place. Now, you would find the sum of 164 plus, this is the expanded form of partial sums, 164, 116, 1 4, and 1 2. Okay, so let's see, 64, 16, and 6. So 86 people traveled on Wednesday, so we would find the sum of these two to complete our problem. But just to kind of take this one step further, to show students to make this connection between value and expanded form. This right here is the partial sums expanded form, but you could also write out for the students I'm going to get rid of some of this, the expanded form that I talked about in one of my original phases of the lesson. So 2 1s plus 3 4s plus 1 16 plus 1 64, and that's your expanded form. And you know, all the first numbers in each parentheses is the digit, the second number is the place value, and when you find that product of each parenthesis, you are finding the value. So students are then, in this activity, this debriefing discussion, you're assigning the mathematical terms they learned in base 10 to what they did in the activity and being very clear about those connections.